Chapter 1. Winter in Blackburg. In the small suburb of Blackburg, Sweden, the long, cold winter has cast a quiet blanket over the town. 12-year-old Oscar lives with his mother in a modest apartment, feeling the weight of isolation in his young life. At school, Oscar is relentlessly bullied by his classmates, particularly a boy named Connie, who humiliates him at every opportunity. Timid and quiet, Oscar endures the bullying in silence, bottling up his anger and resentment. At night, Oscar's thoughts turn to fantasies of revenge, imagining himself standing up to Connie and his tormentors. He cuts out articles about violent crimes and dreams of taking control of his life. It is during one of these evenings, while standing in the snowy courtyard outside his apartment, that Oscar notices something strange. A new tenant has moved in next door. A man and a young girl. The girl, who looks about Oscar's age, stands barefoot in the snow, her dark hair and pale skin striking against the cold backdrop. She watches him with an intensity that unnerves him, but Oscar, ever curious, attempts to strike up a conversation. "Hi, I'm Oscar," he says. The girl responds coldly, "I can't be your friend." Oscar is taken aback but intrigued by her strange behavior. He notices that she doesn't seem cold despite her lack of winter clothing. Little does he know, this encounter marks the beginning of a friendship that will change his life forever. Chapter 2. The Girl Next Door. The girl, Eli, is unlike anyone Oscar has ever met. She only appears at night, and there is something off about her. Despite her initial rejection, Oscar finds himself drawn to her, fascinated by her mysterious presence. He notices that Eli never eats, never seems to age, and has an odd way of speaking, as if she has lived far longer than her 12 years would suggest. At the same time, the quiet town of Blackburg is shaken by a series of gruesome murders. The victims are found drained of blood, leading the police to suspect a serial killer is on the loose. Fear grips the town, but Oscar feels oddly detached from the horror. He has his own battles to fight, and his budding friendship with Eli is the only bright spot in his otherwise bleak existence. One night, Oscar confides in Eli about the bullying he endures at school. Eli listens carefully, her large, dark eyes fixed on him. She urges him to fight back, to stand up for himself. When Oscar hesitates, Eli gives him an unexpected piece of advice: hit back. Hard. Chapter 3. The Secret. As Oscar spends more time with Eli, he begins to suspect that she is hiding something terrible. He notices that her guardian, Hakan, is acting strangely, sneaking out at night and returning covered in blood. One evening, after a particularly brutal incident where Oscar is once again bullied by Connie and his gang, he decides to confront Eli. "You're not like other people, are you?" Oscar asks one night in the courtyard. Eli looks at him, her expression unreadable. Finally, she answers, "No, I'm not." Eli reveals her dark secret. She is a vampire, trapped in the body of a 12-year-old girl for centuries. She must feed on human blood to survive, and Hakan, her protector, has been killing people to sustain her. Oscar is horrified but also fascinated. For the first time, he feels a strange sense of belonging with Eli, as though her monstrous nature mirrors the darkness he feels inside himself. Despite the shocking revelation, Oscar remains drawn to Eli. Their bond grows stronger, and they form an unspoken agreement Oscar will not turn away from her, even knowing the truth about what she is. Chapter 4. Blood and Betrayal. Hakan's desperate attempts to provide blood for Eli lead him to make mistakes. During one of his nightly hunts, he is caught in the act and fatally wounded, forcing Eli to take matters into her own hands. Hakan, who has cared for Eli for years, sacrifices himself so that she can escape. Eli is devastated by his loss, but knows she must continue to survive. Meanwhile, Oscar's torment at the hands of his bullies escalates. Connie and his friends take pleasure in tormenting him, pushing him to his breaking point. But Eli's words echo in Oscar's mind, hit back hard. During a particularly vicious encounter, Oscar snaps. In a moment of courage, he strikes Connie with a pole, injuring him and sending a message that he will no longer be an easy target. Oscar's newfound confidence, combined with his growing connection to Eli, gives him a sense of strength he has never known. But with that strength comes danger. The police are closing in on the murderer responsible for the recent killings, and Eli knows she cannot stay in Blackburg for much longer. Chapter 5. A Dark Alliance. As Eli prepares to leave town, she and Oscar share a moment of vulnerability. Oscar, who has never had a real friend, begs Eli to stay. Eli, moved by Oscar's plea, decides to stay a little longer, despite the risk. However, the danger intensifies when Connie's older brother, Jimmy, decides to take revenge on Oscar for injuring his brother. In a final, terrifying showdown, Oscar finds himself cornered by Jimmy and his friends at the local swimming pool. As they attempt to drown him, Oscar believes his life is over. But just as Oscar is about to lose consciousness, Eli arrives. In a brutal display of strength and violence, Eli saves Oscar, killing Jimmy and the other bullies with ruthless efficiency. For Oscar, it is both a terrifying and liberating moment. Eli's monstrous side has saved him, and now he fully understands the cost of their friendship. Chapter 6. A New Beginning. With the authorities closing in and the town of Blackburg in turmoil, Eli knows she must leave for good. She and Oscar share a tearful goodbye, knowing that their time together has come to an end. Oscar, for the first time in his life, feels a sense of empowerment and purpose, thanks to his bond with Eli. In the final moments of the story, Oscar makes a decision. He will not let Eli go alone. He sneaks away from home, leaving behind the life he has known, and boards a train with Eli. Together, they embark on a new chapter of their lives, bound by their shared darkness and an unbreakable connection. Oscar doesn't know what the future holds, but with Eli by his side, he feels ready to face it.